Hi, in this topic we are going to learn how to create your task list, how to create the proper hierarchy of your tasks, indentation, outentation and so on. So let us start. So I've picked up the project file which I have created earlier, in which I edited the calendar. So I've picked up that file in which I'll create the task list. And now task basically is the job which I need to perform to complete a deliverable or a phase or a work package. So now setting up tasks in Microsoft project is very easy. So you can just go to your Gantt chart view and you can start typing the task name here. Like let's say I'll start with scope as the task name, then let's say design, then let's say analysis, development, test and so on. I can create the task list here. If I have the task in a Word file or in a PPT or in Outlook, I can copy paste from there, or I can also click on the task tab and then go to insert task, and then here I can insert option is there, import Outlook task. So whatever tasks are there in your Outlook can be taken out from there, imported from there and come in the can come in your Microsoft project file. So it's very easy, so you can do it that way. So I created around 5 tasks here. Now if you see, there is something called a task mode here, which shows a pin icon, task mode. Now if I go to task tab, under the task group there are two modes, manual schedule mode and auto schedule mode. Now what are these modes all about? This mode feature was introduced in the 2010 version onwards. Earlier till 2007 there was nothing called manual schedule, it was only auto schedule. So what happens in manual schedule? Now if you see that I have created all the tasks, it got created in a manual schedule mode. By looking at the icon, I can see that it's a manual schedule mode. Now as soon as the tasks are created, but there is nothing in the duration column, there is nothing in the start and there is nothing in the finish. So what manual schedule helps the planner or the scheduler to do is that enter any preferred information in the duration, start or finish. Like let's say design has to be done by the graphic designer and its duration has to be shared by him only. So rather than me entering a duration, I can enter textual information like duration has to come from the graphic designing team. So this is what manual schedule mode does. Manual schedule mode helps the planner or the project manager to enter some preferred information in the duration column, in the start or in the finish section. But if I have a task which is in the auto schedule mode, let's say I'll create something called under design. Let me create something. So if I have to insert task in between, it is just like Excel. Select the row below and then click on insert task, where a blank row will be inserted at the top. So I inserted 2 blank rows. So under design, I'll just type something called high level design and detailed design. So I created these two. So as I created these two, so let's say I want to enter a duration here. So if I have these tasks in the manual schedule mode, I can enter a duration, let's say 2 days, and then I can have the start or finish date blank. So as soon as I enter the 2 days, which is a tentative duration, a graph of that is being created on the graphical side of the Gantt chart view. So this is what manual schedule mode does. It helps me to enter any sort of preferred information that I would like. But as soon as I would convert this activity to, let's say, auto schedule mode, you can change the mode by clicking on the mode column, and from the drop down I can select auto schedule. As soon as I enter auto schedule, you see that it has taken duration and a date has been taken, and now I cannot enter any preferred information or a textual information here in the start or finish. And even in the duration column there has to be a duration, which can be anything from 0 onwards. So this is what happens in an auto schedule mode. Auto schedule mode is generally used or preferred to be used when you have enough information about the duration, start or finish. if not start or finish, at least the duration information you have, and then allow the software to calculate the start or finish based on the predecessor successor relationship. Predecessor successor will discuss in the subsequent topics. So this is what auto schedule mode does. So even if I convert any other task or activity in an auto schedule, like I'll convert detailed design into auto schedule, yes, I'll just click on here and click on auto schedule. Automatically it takes 1 day as the duration. Now with a question mark, this question mark indicates that I have not entered the duration, so it is asking me that whether 1 day will be the duration or I need to change it. And by default it has taken 11 as the start date of the project, being the project start date. Start date of the activity also is the same. So this is what happens in an auto schedule mode, and this is what happens in a manual schedule mode. So this is how you can enter your task. Now second thing which I would like to discuss here is that when you are creating a task list, if you see, this is just a list from scope, design, this is just a list. But when you are creating a schedule, you do not create a list, you create a hierarchical structure of your task and summary task. So summary task is basically is a collection of multiple subtasks. So like here, design is actually a summary task which will consist of two activities or tasks, which is high level design and detailed design. But if I look at this current structure, they are all in the same indentation level, they are in the same level, so it doesn't indicate that HLD and detailed design is under that. So if I have to create that indentation, I just go to the task tab, and if you go to the schedule group, there are two arrows given. This arrow is to outdent, and the arrow to the right is your indent task. So I can click on that, and the task will get indented. As soon as get indented, you see now the summary task is shown by a bold font, so which shows that this is a task which is consisting of multiple other subtasks. So I can minimize it to hide it, and I can. So this is how you enter the task and how you do the indentation. So now let's say I create another activity which is called documentation. Now if you see, again, this new activity that is created in the manual schedule mode, because the default setting of Microsoft project is that whenever you create a new task, it gets created in the manual schedule mode until unless you change it. So I can change all the tasks at one go into auto schedule mode. Like I can do that by selecting this entire column, and then under the task tab, I'll go to the task group and then click on auto schedule. So you see all the dates, all the tasks have been converted into auto schedule mode, and with certain durations given there. Right, the textual information have been erased and been replaced by certain duration information, again with a question mark, which indicates that this is something which I might be changing. So now I've created all the tasks in a auto schedule mode. But again, if I create another new task, let's say there's documentation, and I'll create a task, let's say called training. So as soon as I click on training, it again gets created in the manual schedule mode. Now why this has happened? Because as I said, the setting of Microsoft project is that any new tasks are created in the manual schedule mode until unless you change it. So let's say I want to create all new tasks from now onwards in an auto schedule mode, because I have enough information in my project about its duration or start or finish. So let me delete this task first. I'll just click on this task and click on delete, or I can right click and delete it. So I've deleted it. So I want any new task from now on should be created in the auto schedule mode. So what I can do is that I can go to the file and options. From there I can change it, or else I can do it from the Gantt chart view itself. If you see at the bottom, there is something called new task manual schedule. So if you just click on this, and instead of manual schedule, just take your selection to auto schedule and select that. So now from now onwards, if I create any task, and let's say I'll create the same task which I created earlier, training. Now it's get created in a auto schedule mode. So this is how you create the task in auto schedule and manual schedule, and how you do indent outdent. If you want to insert any task in between, as I said, just select the row below, and let's say above design, but under scope I want to enter 3 more activities or tasks. So I'll just select design, right click and click on insert task. A blank row will be inserted here. If I want to insert more, and I just click on insert task, insert one more. So I'll create 3 tasks here. Call collect requirements, define scope, WBS. Now let's suppose these 3 are actually a subtask of scope. So I'll select these 3 and I'll click on the right arrow. I can also use a shortcut Alt Shift right from my keyboard. So Alt Shift right arrow, I can use that. So I can just click on this and this proper indentation will be created. Now if you see on the graphical side also, they are denoted by different icons. The normal tasks, the subtasks are denoted by blue bars, whereas the summary tasks, which are a collection of the subtasks, are shown in a different icon. So this is how you create your task list and how you create the proper indentation. Now in the following topic which I'll discuss how to enter durations, how to change the default settings of duration. If you see now all the durations are in days. If I want, I can change it into hours or weeks or even minutes, though minutes I rarely feel any projects track that, but still we can do that. Microsoft Project gives us that flexibility. Also activities of years and so on. So we'll talk about duration, and then we'll also talk about in the subsequent topics how to decide the logical order of doing these activities. Now if you see, all the activities are in a list format, starting on the same day, which is the project start date, and finishing on the 11th itself, because all the duration is 11. But yes, all the duration is 1 day, so finishing on 11th as well. So if I sequence them, then their start should change. So we'll see what are the effects when we sequence those activities. So that's it for this topic, where we created the list of tasks and did the indentation and auto schedule and module schedule. So let's discuss in the subsequent topics for the future topics. Thank you.